Hello, everyone, and welcome to this next episode in our series Out of the Park Baseball. We are going to be playing Game 3 of the 2028 National League Division Series against the Atlanta Braves as the New York Mets. In case you didn't see the previous two videos, in Game 1, we had a nice win against the Braves after being down 2-0. We came back to win 4-2. And an overall solid all-around game for us. Then in Game 2, we had a pretty good starting pitching performance from Tarek Skubal over 6 innings. However, the bullpen fell apart, and we only scored 2 runs the entire game, which is not a recipe for success. And we ended up losing by the same score that we won with the previous day. And so that tied the series up at 1. And so now we are going into Game 3 against the Atlanta Braves. We are pitching, or they will be sending out Andrew Abbott, who, as you can see, is basically a league average pitcher at this point in the game. And he will be facing Zach Gallen, who had a tough year, but he specifically had a tough start to the year. And towards the end of the year, he actually ended up getting really hot and was really dominant down the stretch. And you can see that in his start. He started Game 2 of the Wild Card Series against the Diamondbacks, and he pitched 7 2/3 shutout innings. So we seem to have the starting pitching matchup. Besides that, we have our lineup that we deploy against left-handed hitters. The main difference is that we are sitting Brandon Nimmo, Cody Bellinger, and Travis Bazzana. All of them are left-handed hitters and thus are not as good against left-handed pitchers. And so taking their spots, we have added Brent Rooker, Francisco Lindor, and Harrison Bader. With that being said, when it comes time to make defensive substitutions, or when it comes time to for pinch hitters, I'm sure that it is very likely that all 3 of these players will enter the game at one point. So we now enter Game 3, and we can start it up. Alright, so we're back in Citi Field, and let's play ball. Estuary Ruiz is leading off for the Braves. And Ruiz hits the ball hard and deep into left center field, but it is caught by Evan Carter, the only lefty in our lineup today. Now here's Michael Harris II, who is definitely the Braves' best hitter. And Harris pops it up. It looks like it will be Juan Vargas or the third baseman Hernandez. It will be Hernandez. And so we have 2 outs in the top of the first. Now here's Ronald Acuna Jr. There's a 1-2 count on him. And Gallen gives up a base hit to Acuna. So Acuna will get to first base for Matt Olson. Acuna still does steal bases in this save. He has not been having as many knee injuries, and that has not slowed him down. The pitch, and Olson deep into center field, but that ball is going to be caught by the center fielder Bader, who is still a great defensive center fielder. And so we would give up 1 hit in the top of the first, but no runs. And Gallen throws 18 pitches. So now we have Juan Vargas leading off. Be a 1-2 count to him. And Vargas strikes out. Now here is Francisco Alvarez. Get an 0-1 count. And Alvarez grounds out to the third baseman Riley. That is 2 outs. Now here is Brent Rooker. Rooker works a full count and he walks. So we have a 2-out walk. Really gets out its pitch count up there. That was 6 pitches. And so now we have Pete Alonso coming to hit. And the 1-1 to Alonso. And Alonso, it's a ground ball to the shortstop. He fires to second. And that ends the inning. So in the first inning, Abbott throws 15 pitches. Riley, Albies, and Murphy will be up now in the top of the second. And that is a base hit for Austin Riley. Now here's Ozzy Albies. And Albies hits that ball deep into right center field. Going back is Bader, and that ball is going to bounce off the top of the wall. I expect Riley will score here, and he does not. Incredible camera work. Here is Murphy, and Murphy strikes out. So Gallen gets the first out. Now here's Alex Mooney. And Mooney strikes out, so now Gallen is just 1 out away from getting out of the inning, and he will be facing Orlando Arcia, who is for some reason still on the Braves in this era. And Arcia with a base hit up the middle to the arguably worst hitter in their lineup. We give up a 2-run single. And now the top of the order is up with a runner on first. And now Zach Gallen walks Esteury Ruiz. I think I might have to prepare to get someone up here. I think I'm going to warm up Owen White just in case. Here's Michael Harris the second. And Gallen gets the ground ball. Vargas fires to first, and we escape the inning with no further trouble. Okay, so Gallen throwing 21 pitches there. Here's Torkelson, Carter, and Hernandez for us. And Torkelson grounds out to third. Here's Evan Carter. And Carter with a little grounder. Arcia will grab it and just fire to first in time. Now here's Christian Hernandez. He works a full count. And Hernandez walks. So it is a second straight inning in which we have a 2-out walk. And now here is Francisco Lindor, the 1-2 to Lindor. And Lindor, it's a little grounder to the second baseman. And Mooney will throw out Lindor. So we get one base runner but score nothing in the bottom of the second as Andrew Abbott throws 25 pitches. So now it is Acuna, Olsen, and Riley. And Acuna into left field, hit hard, running over is Carter, and he makes the catch. He makes the catch inside the wall. Here's Matt Olsen, and he strikes out. Now here is Austin Riley, the 2-2 to Riley. And Riley hits it into center. Bader comes over, and he makes the catch. And so Gallen has his first clean inning of the day in the third. At 51 pitches through 3 innings. Here is Bader, then the top of the order. And Bader, it's a ground ball to Arcia, and Arcia will throw him out. Now here's Juan Vargas. And Vargas pops up. Looks like it's going to be Olsen making the catch, and he will. So now here is Francisco Alvarez. And Alvarez grounds out to Mooney, and so we go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. There's now Albies, Murphy, and Mooney. And Albies will lead off with a base hit. There's Sean Murphy. And Murphy into right field and will be caught by a diving Torkelson. So now here's Alex Mooney. And Mooney grounds into a double play, a big play for the Mets, as Gallen only has to face 3 hitters in the top of the fourth. Now we have Rooker, Alonso, and Torkelson, the heart of our order, coming up in the bottom of the fourth. And Rooker, deep to center field. Does that ball have enough? It does. It's a solo home run, way gone for Brent Rooker. He goes 441 feet. That is our first hit of the game, and now it cuts our lead in half. So down by 1 now in the bottom of the 4th, and we have Alonso, Torkelson, and Carter still to hit. The 0-1 to Alonso, he hits a little grounder to Arcia. Arcia fires to first, and they get the outs. Now here is Spencer Torkelson, works a 3-1 count, and he swings and hits the ball into center field, and it will be caught. Now here is Evan Carter. And Carter with a liner straight to Olsen, and that retires the side. So both pitchers, those 64 pitches through 4 innings, will be the 9-1-2 hitters now for the Braves. That is the first out. Here's Ruiz. And Ruiz grounds out. Now here is Michael Harris II. And Harris with a grounder, Vargas gets to it, fires to first, and Gallen with a quick 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 5th. So now Gallen only threw 6 pitches there, and now we have the bottom of our order against Abbott. Here is Lindor. And Lindor grounds out to the third baseman, Riley. That was Christian Hernandez. Now it's Francisco Lindor. And Lindor strikes out. And Harrison Bader comes up. And Bader deep into right field, but it's caught by a diving Acuna. And so we also go down 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Abbott at 76 pitches. Both of the starting pitchers will now be sort of reaching sort of their final inning or two here. I think just in case, I think I'm probably going to warm up. Who should I get up? I think Mike Vasile probably. Just in case something goes bad during this inning. But I have confidence in Gallen to get through it. Little grounder. Alvarez fires to first, and Acuna is retired. And here's Olsen. And Olsen pops up. It looks like it will be Hernandez who calls everyone off, and he makes the catch. And now here is Austin Riley and the 2-1. And Riley hits a hard ground ball. It is smothered, but it gets past Lindor. And so that is going to be an infield hit. Here's now Ozzie Albies. The 0-2 to Albies. And Albies strikes out looking. Side retired. Gallen throws 85 pitches so far. That might be his final inning off to the side. And so now we have the top of the order against Andrew Abbott. And Vargas strikes out. Here's Francisco Alvarez. Alvarez strikes out. I think, let me get someone up real quick. I think I'm going to get up. Let me think real quick. I think I'm going to get up Brandon Sprout, probably. Right? Or, hang on, there's lots of choices to be made. I think maybe, yeah, we'll do Sprout. Now here is Brent Rooker. And he goes down 0-2. He homered in his last at-bat, but he strikes out looking here. Andrew Abbott strikes out the side, and that ends the inning. Abbott with 87 pitches. I think I'm going to try pitching Gallen here in the 7th, just see how far he goes. And he leads off, gets a fly out from Sean Murphy. So that'll be the first out. I think he's at the bottom of the order. Do I want him? No, I should probably bring in Brandon Sprout, and I think I'm going to do that. He's at 91 pitches. He's tiring, even though he's still been sharp. I think it's probably the safer option to do. And I'm going to stick with that. Let me also real quick just warm up Andrew Salfrank in case we need him for the lefties in the lineup. And that's strike 3, and now we have Orlando Arcia. And Arcia hits a base hit. So now here's Estuary Ruiz. And Ruiz pops up. Hernandez will settle under it, and he makes the catch. So that retires the side. It seems the Braves will take out Andrew Abbott, and Alex Lang is now on the mound. So it'll be Alonso, Torkelson, and Carter. No one that we would pinch hit for, though. If we get a few more batters up, we will be pinch hitting hitters. Alonso walks. Here is now Torkelson. He works a full count, and he also walks. So we have 2 runners on now for Evan Carter. And Carter walks, so it's 3 straight walks from Alex Lang to start the bottom of the 7th. And we now have a golden opportunity to tie up the game here and to do more. Here's Christian Hernandez. And Hernandez with the grounder. They throw home. Get the out there. They throw to first. And do they get the double play? They do not. They only get the runner at home. Here is now Francisco Lindor. But we will be taking him out and putting in Travis Bazana. Oh, and they put in a left-handed pitcher. I did not realize that. Or I think they may have done that after I changed it, so it's not really my fault that happens. So, alright, so now let's see what Bazana can do. Even a walk will do good here. And he strikes him out looking. Here's now Harrison Bader against the lefty. And Bader strikes out, so we load the bases on 3 straight walks. And nothing comes of it. I'm going to bring in Andrew Salfrank now for these next three hitters, and then I will be taking him out and replacing him, I suppose, with Nick Sandlin we can do. So a very disappointing bottom of the 7th. And gets Michael Harris looking. Here's now Ronald Acuna Jr., the only righty that Salfrank will be facing, but he still gets him to pop up. And it looks like Bazana will call for it and make the catch. And now we have Matt Olson up. And Olson swings and a miss. The ball gets away, but Alvarez fires to first. And Salfrank comes in, faces 3 hitters, and retires all of them. Now we have another lefty on the mound, Angel Perdomo. And he will be facing the top of the order. Alright, just want to check something. Alright, I'm back. So the 1-1 to Vargas. And Vargas, deep to right field. Does that ball have enough? It does, and Juan Vargas ties the game with an opposite field home run, and we are tied at 2 here in the bottom of the 8th. A huge home run for Vargas. That's his first of the postseason, and we are back in this thing. Now let's warm up our closer, Emmanuel Clase. And here is Francisco Alvarez now. One to Alvarez, and he hits a base hit. So we came into the 8th with only 1 hit, and the first 2 hitters have doubled to that amount here at the bottom of the 8th. Here's Brent Rooker now facing another lefty, and Rooker strikes out. Here's now Pete Alonso. He works a full count, and he walks on a bases loaded count. Here's now Spencer Torkelson. The run out to Torkelson, and Torkelson's a ground ball It is caught by Mooney, or sorry, Mooney knocks it down, and he fires to second to get Alonso, but he will not get anything else. Runners on first and third, and Evan Carter has the opportunity to give the Mets the lead. And he works the full count, and he walks, so that will load the bases for Christian Hernandez. I think I can continue to pitch. I'll say there. And the 2-2 to Hernandez. And Hernandez strikes out. So Perdomo has a very shaky bottom of the eighth. He gives up a game-tying home run, but nothing else comes of the walks and hits that he gives up afterwards. We're going to bring in Emmanuel Clase, and he will be facing as many hitters as he can here in the top of the ninth, as we try to keep the game tied into the bottom of the inning. The 1-2, and he strikes out Riley. Here's Ozzie Albies, the switch hitter, and he strikes out Albies. Now here is Sean Murphy, and 1, 2, 3 go down the Braves with 3 strikeouts by Clase and a dominant performance. Now pitching is Tanner Rainey, and he will face Bazana, Bader, and Juan Vargas. So this is the second right-handed pitcher that we've seen today. The 1-2, and Bazana strikes out. We will be pinch hitting for Harrison Bader, and we will be bringing in Cody Bellinger. So Bellinger is now pinch hitting and hitting ninth in the order. The 2-2 to Bellinger. And Bellinger, deep to right center field. Does that ball have enough? And it bounces on the warning track. Bellinger will at least get 2 out of this, but he's going for 3, and he will slide into third base with a 1-out triple here in the bottom of the ninth. We now just need a deep fly ball, and we can win this game. Juan Vargas will have his chance, and after him, Francisco Alvarez. The 1-2 to Vargas, and Vargas strikes out, so it will be Francisco Alvarez trying to maintain, or trying to get a base hit here to score Cody Bellinger. And they intentionally walk him and opt to face Brent Rooker. However, we will be pinch hitting for Brent Rooker and be bringing in Brandon Nimmo. So we have our second pinch hitter of the inning, and now they bring in Tanner Banks to counter it. Brandon Nimmo did actually hit decent against lefties though. The 1-0 to Brandon Nimmo, and Nimmo with a base hit into right field. Cody Bellinger scores. The lefty-on-lefty matchup does not stop Brandon Nimmo, and the New York Mets take Game 3 away in stunning fashion against the Atlanta Braves, 3-2. Let's wait for all of them to finish jumping up and down with our first walk-off win here in the postseason. Well, here is the box score. You can see the Mets win 3-2, scoring their 2 runs, their final 2 runs in the 8th and 9th inning to tie it and then walk it off respectively. We only had 1 hit entering the 8th, but we were able to get 4 more and make the most of it. Besides that, so here's the Atlanta box score. As you can see, they had a few substitutions for defense, taking out Acuna, who does not have good defensive ratings now that I look at it, as well as Matt Olson, who is not the same Gold Glove caliber first baseman that he used to be. Over here is ours. As you can see, we used 3 pinch hitters, and while we only had 5 hits, it sort of underscores the fact that we did have 8 walks, and so we were getting on base consistently giving ourselves opportunities to score. And that's really what the heart of our order was doing. These 4 hitters right here had a total of 6 walks. And then Alvarez and Rooker also walked. We only had 4 extra base hits in the game. The Braves had 1 double, and then we had a triple from Bellinger and then 2 solo home runs. And then on the pitching, Andrew Abbott was solid for the Atlanta Braves, going 6 innings. And Alex Lang was very shaky, but then Cionel Perez ended up bailing him out. Angel Perdomo and Tanner Rainey ended up giving up the final 2 runs that ended up allowing us to win. On our side, Zach Gallen turned in another solid start in the postseason, while Brandon Sprout, Andrew Salfrank, and Emmanuel Clase dominated and did their job in the bullpen. Player of the game goes to Andrew Abbott. I don't know why they would do that, but they do. So, that is Game 3, and I will see you all for Game 4.